Well, today, everybody, in this video, we're going to continue the annual tradition of talking about my own personal favorite pieces of gear for the year 2023. I've been doing this video for several years now, and I will say this, man, upon compiling all of my pieces of gear for the year, man, I will say that I feel like 2023 is far and away the most underwhelming year for gear. Not too much really came out in comparison to, say, like the peak of like 2019, 2021, when the world kind of opened back up. 2023 seemed to be a bit of a downer year. What do you guys think? But with that being said, I do have a lot of pieces of gear. I would love to tell you guys what I think were the best of the year, and yeah, can't wait to share my list. Two things. One, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. I really sincerely appreciate it. I got you here. It doesn't cost you a thing, man. It would just mean a lot to me, and yeah, thank you so much in advance. And two, leave either your list or at least your top piece of gear for 2023 down below in the comments. And as I'm going through my list, if I miss one, be sure to let me know down below in the comments so I can, you know, kick myself and be like, I forgot about that one. But yeah, man, just let me know, okay? Oh yeah, and one final thing. I promise I'll get to my list. Just give me 1 second. I feel as though my list is a little bit different in the sense that, like, most of the gear that I talk about in this video is brand new in 2023. But I always try to at least add some pieces of gear that were really influential and impactful for me that necessarily didn't come out this year. There's like a couple on this list, but I just want to make that a point. Like, you'll see a couple things in here that are like really old, but like I finally, you know, got one or, you know, used it this year, and I just want to make it, you know, make it a point and talk about it, okay? All right, enough ranting, enough rambling. Let's get into my list, all right? So I got 5 honorable mentions and then a top 10, okay? Let's bang out the honorable mentions really quick. First one, Quad Cortex. Like I just said, man, this thing's like 4 years old now, which is crazy to think about. The Quad Cortex is so old now, but I got my own copy and I was able to tour with it and play with it every single night, all over the country. Didn't fail me once, and it sounded absolutely amazing. MT100 PRS Signature Mark Tremonti head. This is like what I feel as though like is the only big giant 100-watt tube amplifier, at least for hard rock and metal, that came out this year. Am I wrong? Am I missing something? But it just seems like there was no amps at all, really. I mean, at the time of this video being uploaded, Soldano just came out with a little mini amplifier, which is cool and stuff, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, in terms of big, giant tube amplifiers, like the old school days, there really isn't much, right? But the MT100, although it's not my favorite amplifier of all time, it's loud, it's heavy, both literally and in terms of tone. It's a cool amplifier. Next honorable mention is the Zargon West Borland reverb pedal. And the reason why this pedal's on my list is because of the incredible opportunity I was given and was lucky enough to have, where I was able to collab with West Borland upon the announcement day on IG, you know, like where you can collab. Me and Wes did a little collaboration on his pedal, and that was just such an honor, man. Not to mention the pedal's really cool, man. A lot of cool soundscape stuff, and West Borland's known for that. Up next, Marshall JVM. Like I just said a couple minutes ago, this thing is not brand new, but I think I am pretty responsible for like hyping up the JVM as of late. It seems as though a lot of people are scooping them up on the used market, and the price is going up and up. I don't know, maybe that's just me being delusional, but it seems like a lot of people are finding my videos and my findings from, you know, my Marshall videos and you know, talking so highly about it that it seems as though that yeah, the JVM was once underrated and kind of slept on. Not anymore. But again, I was able to tour with it on my first tour of 2023 with a band, just, you know, as a hired gun, and it was a joy to play through a Marshall JVM every single night, I'll tell you that. And my last honorable mention is the signature Tim Henson pickups from Fishman. The main reason why these pickups are on my list is because they don't sound like a typical Fishman pickup to me. Fishman pickups sound absolutely amazing, especially in the lower register, but if you're not tuned down to like drop C and below, in my opinion, I feel as though they're a little too hi-fi and too much like almost spikiness in terms of tone in the high end, whereas the Tim Henson pickups are nice and rounded off and a nice smooth type of sound. Similar to the Ryan Bruce Fishman pickup, which is another pickup that I really love from Fishman. All right, let's get into the list for realsies. No more honorable mentions. Number 10 is my Erebus Cerberus 7-string guitar. Like with a lot of pieces of gear that are going to be on this list, I was able to tour with it, and it was absolutely amazing to play every single night. I played it exclusively for the first half of my last US tour in the drop F sharp stuff. That guitar was absolutely awesome, dude. Stainless steel frets, bolt-on construction, I think a 5-piece guitar memory pickups. It's a joy, man. Not to mention, it was the beginning of my relationship with Cerberus guitars, and in 2024, early 2024, my signature 30-inch Baritone is going to be coming out. And shout out to all you guys who pre-ordered one. I'm so stoked, man. I was going to cheat and put it out or I was going to cheat and put it on this list here in 2023, but they're being made, and you know, I'll just save that for next year. But yeah, man, Cerberus guitars is really, really good to me, and it was awesome to play one of their baritones, 7-string baritones, you know, every single night all over the United States. Number 9, the Jackson Virtuoso series. I'm a huge fan of Jackson guitars. Out of all the metal brands, they're like in my top 2 or 3. I really love Jackson guitars. But the problem is, like, the USA or the real Jacksons are just getting unbelievably expensive anymore. When I first started YouTube, USA Jacksons were like $2,200. Now they're literally like pushing $5,000, some of them, man. And that's such a huge bummer. So when the Virtuoso came out this year, I was super stoked because it was a nice relief from the price point of where they were going over the last couple years. Now they are a little bit stripped down, like they don't have the shark tooth inlays, and you know, there's not really anything super fancy on them, but you know, USA made or assembled in the USA, you know, who knows the real story. I don't care, man. It says USA on the headstock, and that's cool for me. And not to mention, they look cool and they sound cool. I never got to play one. Maybe I'll get in with Jackson when I go to NAMM this year in 2024. But regardless, man, seeing Jackson guitars doing some more USA stuff, I'm 1,000% on board with that. It's a nice compliment to what they did, I believe, last year with the SL3 that came out, and the Virtuosos are even more affordable than that guitar. So yeah, more USA love, more real deal Jackson love. I'm all for it. Number 8, Vola 7-string. The Vola 7-string Oz. It's in the case right back there. Once again, I was able to tour with it in my first tour as my backup. My main was another guitar that you'll see on this list. Spoiler alert. But you know, Vola came out of nowhere for me, and I don't know why or how I slept on them, but you know, I did for such a long time. And then they reached out to me and said, hey, we have a new 7-string that's like a metalized Strat 7-string. You want to check it out? I was just so honored and thankful, and you know, being able to play a guitar pretty frequently when I was touring in the springtime. It was cool, man. Really cool guitar. I got to do more videos with that guitar. I'm just not really a big 7-string player. I go through phases. Really haven't been doing much 7-string stuff with like standard scale 25.5-inch guitars, but I'm gonna fix that here soon. So yeah, man, I love that guitar. It's pink. That's cool. Stainless steel frets. You know, it's just like, you know, an evil Strat looking thing, and it's awesome, man. Number 7 is the Slate Digital Infinity Bass plugin. Now, this plugin came out at the end of the summer, early fall time, and it has changed my mixes for the better exponentially. I haven't even considered mixing without this plugin. If you're unfamiliar with what it is, basically it's just a real subtle effect. Well, you use it subtly, at least I use it subtly, where like it gives you a nice focused low end in the overall mix. You can add it on like bass guitars and, you know, certain instruments, but I just put it on my mix bus. And it's just like the chef's kiss, where it just makes everything just sound more professional. You know, it's really hard to get a nice, focused, and consistent low end. And I've been mixing literally every single day for like 6.5 years with my demos and stuff like that. And I haven't even, like I said, considered not using it, whether it's an Instagram reel, a YouTube short, a TikTok, a YouTube demo, you know, etc. Man, like that thing is always on my mix bus, and it just focuses everything. I put a video out on the product on how to mix modern metal. It's on my channel. You can guys go look it up, but it's like a 30-minute video talking about how I mix. But in that video, I speak a lot on the Infinity Bass, and yeah, dude, that thing just changed all of my mixing for the better. And yeah, my mixes have gotten really, really good, and I think I owe a lot to that plugin. Number 6 is the European series from Solar Guitars. Now, I haven't played one, but being a fan of Solar Guitars and just thinking about it from a business standpoint, and just seeing the logical evolution of Solar Guitars, it was just so cool to see that Solar Guitars in early 2023 started doing like premium, fully spec'd out, not custom shop, but you know what I mean, like cream of the crop guitars, you know, waving the European Solar Guitar flag, however you want to call it. And what's cool as well is they put out another one relatively recently where it's all blacked out, and it's relatively affordable, man. It's under $2,000, and you know, compared to, you know, competitors, that's pretty cheap, man. Like it's cheaper than a lot of Jacksons, a lot of Gibsons, a lot of Fenders, etc. Man, like, you know, Solar Guitars is doing the, like I said, the logical thing to grow the brand and offer, like, you know, they got S by Solar, they got 2 series, 1 series, and now the European series. Like, that's really cool, man. So I'm a huge fan of Solar Guitars. You guys know that. So when I saw them, I saw that they were doing that, you know, I was pretty proud from a fan's perspective. So yeah, man, Solar Guitars European series, pretty cool. Number 5 is my Firefly Baritone 30-inch guitar. Now this guitar, I haven't really played it too much because I am such a sucker for the Jazzmaster clank on 30-inch baritones, but on my album Subtle Comeback that I put out in the fall, it was used a lot on third guitar tracks. Either down the middle, tucked in, or like I would have one clanky Jazzmaster pickup guitar on the left, we'll say, and then the Firefly on the right. So it's a full humbucker guitar. But they're really affordable, really cheap. I don't even know if they're in stock anymore. I don't even really know where I found them, but my mom got it for me for my birthday. And, yeah, that guitar was just like I said, my third guitar track guitar on my album. If you guys want to go check out my album, it's all over the internet. Subtle Comeback, Xander, Raymond, Charles, it's doing so well on Spotify. I've been blessed with the Spotify algorithm gods, but yeah, man, that guitar is on my album, pretty extensively. And, yeah, I really dig all 30-inch baritones, and that guitar is probably, top 2, top 3 baritones that I own. Number 4 is the EVH Frankenstrat Relic series. Now, this is not the typical Stripe series guitar. This one, you guys have probably seen it, but in case you haven't, it's like the blank canvas Strat, or, Frankenstrat Relic guitar. My biggest gripe and my biggest criticism with these guitars is I just wish they didn't have all the dummy stuff that they have inside of these Relic guitars. Like the Frankenstrat, we all know the story with that guitar, and like it had like a dummy pickup selector and a dummy pickup in the neck, and it was just like extra stuff that Ed put in there or didn't know how to rewire it, however you want to word it. I know the story, you're not telling me anything new if you want to correct me. I'm just spitballing right now. But my point is, like with these guitars, I just wish they were a little bit cleaner. Like I don't think we needed a dummy pickup, because the dummy pickup and the dummy selector, we'll say too, like that's solely for one guitar in history. You know what I mean? Like, I think those guitars don't need that. Like, just let it be one bridge humbucker or one bridge humbucker and one single coil in the neck. We don't need all the extra stuff because it's not replicating, the Frankenstrat. It's just like an homage, right? So I think it would just do a better job of like separating, like these are new guitars paying homage rather than a blank Frankenstrat. I could be way off on that, and I know a lot of people disagree with me, and that's totally fine. But regardless, man, enough with the criticism. What's really cool is exactly that, is it's the EVH brand continuing to evolve and not solely just make replicas of all of Ed's guitars. Like I was really curious, as a huge fan of Van Halen, as we all are, I was really curious to see how the brand was going to continue going forward since the unfortunate passing of the man himself, right? And to see that they're coming out with guitars that are like in the EVH lineup and the EVH brand umbrella, like you can't like steer too clear from that. But they're doing something, in my opinion, with these Relic guitars where it's like a blank canvas. It's just a Super Strat, just has a negative connotation. It's just a Super Strat, but it's blank and it's not literally a replica. There's a difference there. And for that, I welcome that so much. And then if you're an artist, literally like a painter or, whatever, you can customize them and you can make them your own, or you can just leave them blank. Like regardless, it's a win-win. So I just really appreciate those guitars, and I think it's a cool thing and a cool move from the EVH brand. All right, top 3. Number 3, Kiesel A2. This guitar was my main guitar when I toured in the spring, from like the regional part of the U.S., from like New York through Ohio and all the way back up. And, I did a nice little loop in 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. But the Kiesel A2 and Drop A was my main guitar, and that guitar is awesome, man. Shout out to Kiesel Guitars, shout out to Jeff. They've always been so good to me, man. I really love Kiesel guitars, even if they weren't good to me or whatever, if I didn't have a relationship with them. Like, I love Kiesel. I've been playing Kiesels off and on for years, man. And every guitar that I've ever gotten from them is just top-notch, just fully spec'd out, obviously, fully customizable, obviously, and they just play great, man. They sound great, they're durable, they're lightweight, they're great touring instruments, in my opinion. So that guitar, the A2, every single night, playing through a Marshall JVM with a Boss SD1 in front, it was a lot of fun, bro. Top 2. What's the 2 going to be? I think you know of one, and the top one you're going to be completely surprised about. Number 2 is my Gibson Les Paul Custom Silverburst. Of course this guitar is going to be on this list, right? Now, like I was saying in the beginning of this video, this guitar is technically a 2022 model, but let's just call it how it is, man. This guitar was probably the most popular and or infamous guitar on my channel this year for the obvious reasons. You guys know the story. I don't have to tell you guys that. If you guys want to go research that, just Google or YouTube, Silverburst Les Paul Custom on my channel. But after years and years of grinding and hustling and you know, trading, buying, all the above. I was able to get my dream guitar this year in 2023, and I'm so happy with it. Just like some other guitars that I've talked about, like the Baritone Firefly, the Kiesel A2 as well. My Gibson Silverburst Les Paul Custom was all over my album. Strawberry Mansion was exclusively recorded and written on that guitar. So yeah, man, like as soon as I got it and fixed it up, put it right to work, and I made a ton of videos with it and made a ton of great music with it. So yeah, the Silverburst Les Paul Custom, all over Subtle Comeback, and yeah, I finally have my dream guitar, Silverburst Les Paul Custom. But number one, you guys are going to be blown away, I think, or maybe not blown away, but certainly surprised. My number one piece of gear is, in fact, the Mixwave Mike Stringer plugin. Yes, everybody, I'm obsessed with this amp sim. Let's call it how it is. One could say that an amp sim these days are a dime a dozen, but the Mixwave, something about it, I think it's just the obvious, just how it sounds is really unique and different. The effects are really unique. We have a ring mod and a chorus, something that I love, especially chorus, man. But a ring mod for like some weird, trippy effects, like that's something that the modern player really desires and uses a lot. That's in there. You got a transpose knob. That's huge, especially for modern metal. I had the opportunity of making my own presets inside this plugin. Mike asked me if I wanted to be a part of the release, and what an absolute honor. You know, one of the best metal guitar players, modern metal guitar players right now, asking me to help out with the release. Dude, I'm so thankful for that. And all my presets and all my biases aside, like it just sounds absolutely amazing, man. Like 70 to 80% of all YouTube videos are using this amp sim. Like all my reels and shorts are using this amp sim. It just sounds absolutely amazing, dude. That preset that I made called Angry, you know, I'm really creative with my names, but it just sounds absolutely amazing, man. So yeah, that amp sim has like beat out all of my other amp sims as of late. It's better than the Auto Audio 1111 right now for me. It's better than the STL Tonality Andy James right now. You know, like those are like my big three: Mixwave Mike Stringer, STL Tonality Andy James, and the Auto Audio 1111. But for 2023, the Mixwave Mike Stringer, dude, that's my go-to, man. It doesn't crash. It's not CPU heavy, but has a ton of different features. And that's one of the biggest pitfalls of amp sims. Like they can be really like crazy and elaborate, but like if your computer can't handle it, you know, what good is it? So like I can have a ton of those running simultaneously on a track, and knock on wood, it doesn't crash my computer. So long story short, everybody, the Mixwave Mike Stringer really has done something special for me personally in 2023, and it completely just changed all my workflow. That's the one I gravitate towards now. That's the one I use exclusively. So everybody, that's my list for 2023 in terms of the best gear of the year. Like I said in the beginning of this video, if you want to leave yours down below in the comment section as well, potentially let me know which ones I missed. I would love to hear from you guys, okay? Last but not least, be sure to subscribe on your way out. And with that being said, 2024 is right around the corner, and I can't wait to see what's in store for us, okay? So I'm out of here, everybody. See you guys in the next video. Later.